Greetings, speculators. So I'm reading about some of the companies I'm watching and looking for news, and it's summertime. It's like July 4th weekend in the U.S., which is a big holiday, so not much of anything's happening. But I did find a news release from a couple days ago on a little one called Midland Exploration. And I've been following this company because they use the business model that I love. They like to explore and point out their favorite stuff and get other people to put up the money and expertise to test these projects that give these projects credibility, because it's not just them that's falling in love with the project. They were able to talk someone else to put up their money to test these projects. So that should be a concentrator effect of higher odds that I would like to speculate on. Cherry picking those kinds of odds should produce some scores in the future. So that's what I'm doing. I'm following the odds. And today it's Midland Exploration because they've got this deal with Japan Oil and Gas putting in money to work this project in Quebec. So this is the latest news release, June 23rd, 2015. They're saying Japan Oil and Gas is continuing to pay to work this project. They're in the third year of working this project, and they're going to keep exploring. So why are they going to keep exploring, keep putting money into this project? Let's go into the project. The project is the Paulus Project. It's located in northern Quebec. It's kind of the same latitude as the Voisey's Bay. I almost forgot the name of the big nickel find in northern Quebec. It's Voisey's Bay. And it's inland from there, and it's a big swash of land. We'll get to some maps. But they're saying it's a whole bunch of claims, and it covers a bunch of area. And it didn't take much of anything to start figuring this out. There's a bunch of rocks that stick out of the ground. They sampled them, and it took a bunch of samples to point out some intersections that they hit of platinum group elements and gold. And so they got some concentrations that are freaks of nature kinds of concentrations that should be coming from some kind of concentrating effect. Something happened in geology back in time that concentrated precious metals in this area. So if they can figure out where these precious metals are coming from and what the concentrator effect is, maybe they can figure out an economic deposit to mine someday. So they've got this got more details on the project, a presentation on the project that was put together almost a year ago, but it's still interesting. So I started looking at this, and the option agreement with Japan Oil and Gas says $250,000 in the first year, which has gone by, $950,000 in the second year, which has happened, and then $2 million in the third year, which is right now. That's this season. This is the middle of the summer. This is the active time to explore in the northern countries. This is what they're working on. They've got a $2 million budget from Japan Oil and Gas to go work this project. Now, Japan Oil and Gas doesn't have to spend the money, but if they spend that money, the full $2 million, they will earn 50% in this project, and Midland keeps 50% of the project. If they don't spend the full $2 million, Midland keeps the whole project, is my understanding. So Midland's the operator, and they're working this thing. They're also charging a 10% administration fee to Japan Oil and Gas, so that's like $200,000 going into Midland's coffers by working this project. If nothing comes out of it, they still get the money for working it, trying, and swinging. So they're getting paid to swing for the fences, and they're using someone else's money to swing for the fences. That's the best of both worlds, as well as what I was just talking about, the concentrator effect of not only Midland loving the project, but getting someone else to pay to try it too. That should make it much more probable of happening. And so here's a map of northern Quebec. Here's the Voisey's Bay project. If you can see this red star. They're on the coast and deep water port and stuff there. This project covers a bunch of area that doesn't have that, but it's if it's got anything like the formations they're liking this to in South Africa or Zimbabwe, if they get anything like those concentrations, the economics should fly and be able to build infrastructure to get this stuff out of there. And moving precious metals is not usually the problem. The problem is getting the supplies in to mine it. It's not bulky, volumetric stuff that you're moving out when you're moving precious metals like they're talking. If you can concentrate it in this area, otherwise you're moving something out to go concentrate somewhere else in the world, depending on the size of the project and the economics. It's north, so they have a bigger barrier to jump than lots of people, but it's still doable if the stuff's worth it. That's what I'm trying to say. And they go on to talk about the geology and some of the samples that they've found in here and what they think the geology is. Different samples, different kinds of just a lot of geologic detail and strategy of what they're finding in this project, along with maps and some pictures, I think start to tell you what kind of landscape we're talking about. This is far north. There's no trees. I mean, there's rocks sticking out of the ground. You can walk up to them and you can sample them. It just takes guys that are diligent enough and crazy enough to go sample all these rocks and figure out which ones are actually have something in them, and start to model them and think about it, concentrate on it, and strategize on where these rocks are coming from, or where the highest concentrations and the largest amounts might be, to see if they're economic. And these guys are actually doing it. They're putting their boots in the ground. They're making it happen. Some pictures of the region. Just barren region. These rocks are literally sticking out of the ground. So I think as they keep moving this forward, you probably see trenches, maybe drilling someday to get more and more details. But this is where geology starts. I mean, taking samples like this and figuring it out. And we'll see if they come up with a massive economic operation someday. So that's an iron in the fire in Midland Exploration. I just thought I'd point it out and see if anyone cares more about those kinds of shots. This is one of many that Midland is working on. So thanks for listening, and if you're interested in Midland Exploration, I'll keep following them and keep you updated. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, that'd be great. Be much appreciated. It's free. Otherwise, also free. You can do the same thing. Go subscribe to Midland Exploration's news releases, and they'll send you news releases as they come. And just a good one to watch. I would be cautious of buying stock right away, because they just did a big financing kind of a month ago that has locked up. It's locked up for 4 months, and so 3 months from now, those people will be able to sell a bunch of shares in the market. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to sell shares at or around where they just bought them, or more, especially if the price is up, to keep the warrants that they got. So the share price is probably muted in the short term, but in the long term, as one of these projects works, it could be one to really pay attention to. So thank you for listening.